Hello, mathematicians. Mrs. Post here. This is your lesson for Monday, April 6th for Algebra 2. Hope you guys had an all right weekend, relaxing and spending some time with your family. It is Monday, April 6th, and it is a new week, and you guys have new goals because this is the first week of quarter 4. So everything you do this week will go into the grade book for quarter 4. So this is it. This is the last quarter. So if you guys didn't have the greatest grades for quarter 3, well, now is your time. You got to get your average up, okay? So here you go. It's a new week and it's new goals. So I'll talk to you guys about your assignments for the week, and those will be posted on the post page for you guys whenever you log in, so you can see everything you got to do this week, at least generally speaking. So we're going to go ahead and get started on today's lesson. The first thing we're going to do is go over some of the work from Friday. And I'll talk to you guys why about that in just a minute. Okay, so the plan for today, just like we've been doing Thursday and Friday of last week, is to simplify radicals, which are the square roots. And if necessary, you guys can use a calculator to approximate them. And remember, you guys are really just trying to manipulate it, right? You're trying to figure out, okay, if this is a cube root, how can I rewrite this so we can simplify it and break it down, right? So just remember that the little number on the outside is your index. You have your radical symbol, and what's inside is your radicand. And you would read this as a cube root of x minus 4. So we're going to work on simplifying these. I'm going to go over your work from last week and just give you a couple pointers and review. And I want you guys to check your classwork from Friday to make sure you guys are getting it right. However, some of you guys were checking with me on Friday to make sure you were doing it right because you were kind of nervous, but most of you guys who checked with me were doing it right. So make sure that you are working on pace. And so every day you're doing the assignment for the day so you don't get behind. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So let me move my video down here. So as you guys can see that this was the work from Friday. These are the first 3 problems. So I just want to go over these really quickly with you guys. Let's see. All right, so this was your first example here. Remember that if it doesn't have an index, it's automatically 2. So I wrote it here on the second line so you would remember that. So now you're thinking, okay, so how can I rewrite this power of 8 as a power of 2 so I can simplify it and remove the radical symbol? So one of the strategies we talked about last week was just dividing the 8 by 2, which is 4. Because you know with the exponent properties, 4 times 2 gives you 8, which is what you started with. So that was the learning objective, is rewriting them so you can simplify them. So once you rewrite it like this, remember that the 2's will cancel out, the radical symbol goes away, and you just get left with the x minus 6 to the power of 4. So it's still smaller than what you started with, right? You had a power 8, and now you have a power of 4. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and look at number 2. This is the square root of 76, and it has a negative out here. So remember, that's the opposite of the square root of 76. So you guys can use your calculator, calculate the square root of 76. You're going to get a decimal. Doesn't have to be exact, but something like this. Doesn't have to be exactly what I have. You could have rounded it differently. And then you just stick the negative on the outside. And that's all you guys have to do for that one, okay? And you can use your calculator. You can use the Desmos scientific calculator or your phone or your own calculator. So over here for number 3, same idea as the last couple, just kind of put together. So remember, you don't see a number out here, so it's automatically an index of 2. It's a basic square root. So now you have to write the 16 as a power of 2, the c to the 4 as a power of 2, and the d to the second power as a power of 2. Everything should be rewritten as a power of 2. So you know 4 squared gives you 16. And if you rewrite this, remember, once again, the strategy is to take this exponent, divide it by your index. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. You can just do that. That's a shortcut. And you can just double check it by multiplying out your powers and making sure it gives you what you started with. And it does. And then you know d squared is just d squared. You don't have to really rewrite that. And once you reduce it by the power of 2, all you do is take those 2's away, and then you just bring down what's inside the parentheses, the 4, the c squared, and the d, and just bring the negative down. All right, you guys are welcome to pause the video and look over those a little bit more. Here are the next three problems you guys were working on. Number 4 was a power of 3. Is an index of 3. So remember, you're writing every single one of these as a power of 3, so you can simplify it down. So 8 can be written as 2 cubed, so that's 2 times 2 times 2. If you're not sure, you guys could always calculate the cube root of 8 and it would give you 2. 8 to the 6th, you could write this as a squared to the power of 3, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. And you know 2 times 3 is 6. So that's one way to rewrite it because you're trying to get everything as the same number as the index out here. And then b to the 4th to the power of 3, because b to the 4th 3 times is b12. And once again, you can reduce everything down, take away the radical symbol, and just leave everything that's inside the parentheses. 2a squared and b to the 4th. And that's it. Hopefully you guys are starting to see the pattern, how the indexes it tells you what to do. The index tells you what to do, and then as you rewrite them, you just take those same powers away. And that's because you have 3 choose, 3a squareds and 3b to the 4th. So when you take the cube root of it, you get rid of all of those. You just need the 1. And over here for number 5, you had an index of 6. It's a little bit larger, but it's okay. Remember, the strategy is just to divide here. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So you can write it as d to the 4th to the power of 6. And now you have a power of 6 as well. Same thing with x to the 36th power. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And you can rewrite it like this. And they both have now a power of 6, which matches your index of 6. So when you simplify it, the 6's go away. Okay. Number 6 is the same way. If you weren't sure, you guys could check on your calculator. 27 would be 3 to the power of 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. Look at this, b to the 18th, divide it by 3 is 6, and then stick that power 3 on the outside. The same thing with the 12, divided by 3 is 4. And then remember, you can always check it by multiplying. 4 times 3 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, okay? And then simplify it by just keeping everything that was inside the parentheses, and you're done with those. You simplified them, okay? If you need to pause it to review these, you can. All right, these are our last 3 problems. Go ahead and move my screen up here. So what you guys can see over here on the left, number 7, you do have a square root. And you know you guys cannot have a square root with a negative inside. If you do, you have to go ahead and take out that negative and change it to an imaginary. Everything else is the same. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so that's why you get x plus 2 to the 4th power. X plus 2 to the 4th power, also to the 2nd power, right? So now 4 times 2 is still 8. Just reduce it out. X plus 2 to the 4th power, but that negative becomes an imaginary. And you guys, we've gone over this since December. So remember, if you have a negative inside a square root, it becomes imaginary. Now, it depends where you got your problem for number 8. It looks like, because I had some issues uploading the files with Word for some reason in Teams on Friday, some of you guys might have an index of 3 here, some of you may not. It depends if you use the problems from the video or if you use the attachment file. It just depends which one you used. It was supposed to be a cube root. So if you didn't, go ahead and change it to a cube root, and you can pause the video and try it. But it should have been a cube root here. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you guys could have written it like this with that negative over here. It's okay to have a negative. It doesn't become an imaginary because this is an index of 3. So you can have 3 negatives inside a cube root, because a negative times a negative times a negative is a negative, and that's okay. It's okay to have that. So that means you can have 3 negative numbers because your index is 3, and that's okay. We went over those rules on Friday. That's what I was looking for the difference between 7 and 8. 7's a square root, 8's a cube root. And lastly, number 9, you guys can see you rewrite the 400 as 2 squared because this is an index of 2. X to the 32nd power, divide by 2 gives you 16. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And now everything has a power of 2. Bring everything down and just bring the negative on the outside because it was on the outside, just like number 3 was, and number 2. Okay, so you guys are welcome to pause the video and go over these some more if you need to. But those are the answers from Friday's classwork, okay? So make sure you're checking them as you go. Make sure you understand it. So today I'm giving you guys classwork. It's a worksheet. It's front and back. This is the first page and this is the second page. These are actually the pages that are in your green Algebra 2 workbook that you guys might have with you at home. If you do, you're welcome to go ahead and go to that lesson 6-4. You'll notice it's the same. Almost every one of you has your green workbook at home. There's only a couple of you that have lost your workbook that have been coming in to make copies. And then I think only one of you left it in the classroom. So you know who you are and I know who you are. Everyone else should have their green book. So you're welcome to just use that and then just send me this page. You can rip it out and scan it or take pictures of it. Or you can I'll upload them here with the assignment and you can just get them this way, whatever works for you guys. But so for this first page right here, you guys will notice a lot of just numbers here, and you guys can just use your calculator and just calculate those. Okay, it just says simplify. And remember, that was one of your objectives for the day, was to use a calculator to approximate radicals and then continue what we're doing with rewriting them if necessary. So I'm just going to go forward. So some of these are just going to be numbers where you just use your calculator, and some of them will have variables. So using the same rules as what we just did, this is the same lesson. You guys are going to try to work on these. And then this is the second page, it's like the back side. Same idea. These are all numbers. These are pretty quick to calculate. There are 2 word problems. I would like you to try them. They give you the values. You just substitute them in and simplify just like you've been doing. It's really not anything where you have to really problem solve as much. They give you the values in the problem. Like, for example, I'll show you really quick. So like, for example, it tells you, I'm even going to read the problem. 300 feet long, it tells you the L. So you know for this particular problem, the L is 300 feet. And you could just plug that in and substitute and then solve it out. And the same thing with number 20, it actually gives you the H, miles, 150 miles above, which is your H. So in this particular problem, your H is 150, and you would just calculate it. You're not really doing anything new. It gives you the values to plug in, okay? So I want you guys to try those and to send them in to me today, and let me tell you why. So here's our plan for today. You guys are going to complete this assignment either in your green workbook and send it in, or you can just get the file that's attached to your assignments. You're going to add your work and click turn in. Don't forget to take today's attendance. If you need help with today's assignment only, you have to come visit me. You have to visit me on the day, just like we were in a traditional classroom. You get help in class on your assignment for that particular day. So if you need help with today's assignment, you're going to come visit me between 10 and 12 and 2 to 4. Just go to the post office. You all need to be in there, and you need to be visiting me and asking questions if you are stuck. You cannot come to me on Friday and say you don't understand how to do the week's work. It's too late at that point. So you guys have got to work on your work on the day that you need it, because it's going to continue. And if you notice up here, I have a 10-point mastery assignment. This is the first one for quarter 4. And this will be on Tuesday. So this one is based on the simplifying radicals and everything that we went over today and that we went over Thursday, Friday, and today is Monday. So, and we'll go over this work tomorrow in class before you do that assessment. So you have to be on track. You have to stay on pace, and you guys have got to come see me if you need help, okay? Or come visit me. So I believe that's everything I have for today. You guys work on your assignment and be sure to visit me if you need help. And I'm here to help you, but you guys got to work on this and try it on your own. I want to make sure I'm getting all those views from my video and you guys are doing your part. So have a fabulous Monday, and I will see you and talk to you guys later. Bye.